by all means, if you are considering an M4 MacBook Pro, just go get it. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Dylan, the TechnoGiz guy, and today we're finally reviewing my MacBook that I bought like 2 months ago. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? We're reviewing my MacBook Pro today. So in case you don't remember the unboxing video or you didn't see it, watch it up here. But I bought an M4 Max MacBook Pro, the upgraded M4 Max with the 14-core chip, and it's spec'd out with 48 gigs of RAM. I have been using it for about a month and a half. I say about a month and a half because very shortly after I made the unboxing video, this laptop broke. We will discuss that in a second. I want to talk about the review. So this video is going to be structured a lot differently than my normal reviews are because it's kind of also a story and like my experience with AppleCare and the Tim Cook way. Right off the bat, there's not a whole lot of things I don't like about this laptop. The battery life has been fantastic. It gets me through all day, sometimes multiple days of using it, work and personal. The performance has been great using just the laptop, and this has been a kind of part 2 of my Mac transition. I bought that MacBook Air that we did the video on. I bought it cheap on Marketplace. I used it for a while, then I bought this MacBook Pro because I liked the OS. I liked it enough that I wanted to shift all of my professional and personal work to a Mac. So I made the jump. I have been exceptionally happy. It is not perfect. There are things I don't like. The biggest issue, and it is not a hardware issue by any means, just if you're considering an M4 MacBook Pro or an M4 Mac Mini, just do it now. Go get it. This thing has been absolutely awesome. I do have some issues with the software, being that it's Apple. Now, I do actually really like macOS. I've come to really appreciate it, and I've come to learn it and kind of still figuring out my ins and outs a little bit. The more I use it, the more I like it. But there are things about it, just like Windows, that I cannot stand. One of those things that comes to mind is, for whatever reason, in macOS, display scaling and display resolution are the same thing. So if you want to use 4K displays like the ones that I'm trying to use, you basically have to run them super small or not run them at 4K. That's not ideal. So, and that's just one of many things. There's no built-in volume mixer, which luckily I was able to fix that by installing an app called SoundSource. It basically provides you a volume mixer where you can select per app audio outputs and inputs. It works great. I have no complaints about that. I kind of feel like it should just be built in to the system. Sidecar doesn't work sometimes. For those that don't know, right here in front of my camera here, I have an iPad. One of the things that I actually really liked about my iPad and Mac kind of cohesion environment was Sidecar. And whatever the hell Apple calls their control thing where your mouse and keyboard get used. In fact, I used that, the universal control thing, way more than I used Sidecar. However, sometimes it just didn't work. Like, it would work fine, and then I would go to move my mouse another time 20 minutes later, and it just wouldn't. I realize this is a really small complaint, but it's one of those things. If I have to be completely, objective about this, it's not perfect. It's been a fantastic laptop. I love it, but I don't like that Apple seems to think that they are always smarter than the user. Apple has a constant mentality that they are smarter than the people using the phone. And most of the time, that's probably true. But it's not true all of the time. And when it's not true, I want to be able to override it. Apple, I'm all for protecting the user, protecting the consumer. But I know what I'm doing, and I'm installing a benchmark software. Let me override. Speaking of benchmarks, how has this laptop done? I did a video talking about how this laptop has done in the AI performance, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but basically, this laptop smoked my AI server that I had built for about $1,000. I was kind of expecting that, just given the fact that I spent more than $1,000 on this laptop, and also it's using new hardware and not, eBay off-the-rack NVIDIA P40s that I could get my hands on. But it absolutely, across the board, smoked the AI server. For video editing, it's been absolutely wonderful. This laptop, I already was enjoying my MacBook Air when I was video editing, but I noticed for sure, especially towards the end of an edit, it would start to kind of chug with only 8 gigs of RAM. And the end of the edit for me is the busiest time, because while the edit is wrapping up and kind of taking its final shape, I am also working on finding AI music and getting everything transcribed and starting writing the descriptions and all this other stuff that I do. I do all of that during the final stage of editing. So my laptop's starting to lag out during the final stage of editing, or during the render, it would basically just freeze the MacBook Air until the render was done. That doesn't happen anymore with this MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro, it just chews through everything. I have yet to find a task that this MacBook Pro cannot handle that it just eats through. Fantastic. And for my handful of gripes with Apple about trying to be, better than the consumer, and it's our product. We know better how to use it than you do. So regardless of how many small, little tiny software tweaks I have problems with, or the way that Apple does their business that I have a problem with, here's some things I can say. I have not been advertised to in the operating system of this laptop. That's pretty good. Every time I have expected this laptop to execute a task, that task has been executed flawlessly. That's a basic requirement of a computer, is it does the task that it's given. Video editing, haven't blue screened, haven't had any kind of random glitches or anything. I have had to restart the laptop like once or twice for just like, it was kind of slow-ish. That's just computers. That's how they are. But the battery life, like I said, it's been great. It charges up. I was concerned because the charger that comes with this laptop is a 100-watt charger. And to get both of my monitors to work, because Apple does not support daisy chaining DisplayPort, they threw off my entire plan for my desk. So I ended up having to use a dock, and I was dead set on doing one cable to plug my laptop in and out, because that's kind of convenient to be able to just sit down at my desk, plug one cable in, boom, laptop's charging, I got my big displays, I got my mouse, my keyboard, I got my speakers, I got all my stuff. Then when it's time to go to work, go do my day job, or go do this, or whatever I'm doing in my personal life on the road, all I gotta do, unplug one cable, grab the laptop, and go. And it's been great. I've been working like that for a couple of months now. I love it. I love having the power and the flexibility to take this laptop anywhere with me and know that I'm good. I'm chilling. If I need Windows for whatever reason, I can do a VM. I have plenty of RAM on there. I could throw a Windows VM on there with 16 gigs of RAM, and it would never even harm the OS. The OS wouldn't even see it. All right. Now, let's talk about the breaking of this MacBook. So, exactly 7 days after I unboxed this MacBook and got all that taken care of, I had to take this MacBook to the Apple Store and turn it in for maintenance, and I did not get it back. So let's start the story, shall we? I had been using the laptop for about a week. It was going great. I had gotten 2 work days in with it because it had snowed, so I ended up working from home the first half of the week and whatnot. And I'm at work. I'm working on a project. I wasn't actually at the office. I was on the road. I'm using, my MacBook as my work laptop. I'm sitting there, I'm using it, it's working fine, no problems whatsoever. I close it, I put it in my backpack, and then I put my backpack in my work car. I talked to the customer. It was maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I go out in my car and I wanted to pull this out because I was done there for the day and I wanted to fill out my service tickets for that job on my laptop. I pull the laptop out of my bag, and the screen just black. The laptop is on, but the screen is black. I'm an IT guy. I'm like, all right, computers do this sometimes. Let's just hold that power button until it shuts off, and then we'll turn it back on. I held the power button, turned it back on. I saw the screen blip for one little tiny second. Went away, gone. Well, crap, that's not good. Okay, no big deal. There happened to be an Apple store about 20 minutes from the job site that I was on. I was done for the day anyway, so I took the laptop to an Apple store. Pull into the parking lot. I pull the laptop out of my backpack. I open it up to check that it was still not working. Still was not working. I walked into the Apple store, met with a genius. She opened it up, and the laptop was working fine. We closed it a handful of times. We shut it off. We restarted it. We opened the lid. We even kind of opened and closed the lid a little aggressively. Nothing would trigger the screen to go black again. It was working fine. So me looking like a fool, I got back in my car, went home. I drove like an hour and a half home, sitting at my kitchen table, and I'm just finishing up some more work, reading some emails, helping some people on Teams. Laptop screen kind of flashes at me and then just goes black. Nothing. Now, in daylight, I could not see it, but in the light of my kitchen, I actually noticed that the screen had not shut off. I could still very faintly see an outline of what was supposed to be on the screen. The backlight blew out. So I book an appointment at the closest Apple store to my house, which is right about 45 minutes. During my appointment, luckily they were able to get me in that night. Now, mind you, I basically already knew that I was completely screwed. I knew kind of as soon as the laptop went black on me the first time around, I knew I was in for a bad time. I meet the genius, the new genius, different genius at a different Apple store, and I explain the story. I explain the entire first part of this story here. Sir, we have to order a screen because you ordered an M4 Max and it's a brand new laptop, and we have to order a screen for it, and it's going to suck. It's going to take a couple days to get here. Not even just the M4 Max, which they definitely do not carry in the store, but the higher end of the M4 Max. A couple days go by, and they call me, your trackpad's also bad. We got the backlight in, it seems to be working fine, but now your trackpad is giving us an issue. I'm like, okay, well, that's not ideal. And they're like, we know. They're like, it's working, but our software is giving us a weird code. We would like to replace it free of charge, just like the screen, because again, it's only a week-old laptop. Sure, absolutely. Let's get it done so that way it's a perfect laptop when I get it back. About 3 days went by. I was up in New York visiting a couple of my friends before one of them shipped back off to Air Force Academy, and they called me back and they said, sir, we're not sure how this happened. We're very sorry about it, but we got the wrong part. And I said, what? Like, they sent you like the wrong trackpad for a different MacBook or something? And the store manager was just like, no, they sent us a Mac trackpad, like a Mac accessory trackpad that you could buy on the Apple Store. And I said, that's not what we need. And he said, I know. I don't know how this happened. So we have to order another trackpad. Okay, sounds good, buddy. Monday, so this call takes place on a Friday. Monday rolls around. They called me again. Somehow they managed to get this new trackpad over the weekend. And you know what they said to me? They said, sir, we put the new trackpad in, but unfortunately, our diagnostic software is still showing that there's an issue. So at this point, we have to do a main board replacement. And I already know where this was going. Well, we have to ship the laptop out to a repair center, and they're going to have to order a main board, and then they're going to have to, do this work and verify that it worked, and then send it back to us, and you're going to have to come get your laptop. They said it in much nicer words, by the way. It was a couple days, they called me, and they said, hey, we got your laptop back. It's all good, it works, everything passes, everything, we're good. I said, sick, coming down to get it right now. So mind you, at this point, this laptop has now gotten a new screen, a new trackpad, and now a new main board. So the only thing that is actually the same about this MacBook is the chassis and the keyboard. So that is the story behind the MacBook. So anyway, me getting and reviewing and using this laptop has been riddled with problems. Getting it was a fun experience, and then after I got it, I got a short little taste to know that I liked it, and then it broke for like 2 weeks, and I had to get it basically completely replaced. Oh, also, I did not get any kind of refund or like compensation, gift card, nothing. So a 1-week-old laptop that had to basically be completely replaced. Luckily, I have other computers, so that's not a huge deal, but I'm not gonna lie, if I was like Joe Schmo consumer and they didn't kind of at least do something to hook me up or give me a loaner, and I understand Apple's quality control is generally pretty good. I just happened to get the lemon, but I did get the lemon. And yes, while their employees were very nice and they handled it in what I think is realistically a timely manner for everything considering, I am a little upset that zero kind of compensation was given. That being said, it does make me really happy I got the AppleCare, because even though every bit of work was covered under warranty for this laptop, because it was, again, 7 days old, it kind of showed me that their service at least is good about fixing things, and it makes me happy that I paid for the AppleCare, because if anything happens to this again, I at least know that they will fix it fast. Okay, everybody, that was my story. So ultimately, I like the MacBook Pro. I think it's great. I'm hoping that it's my computer for the next like 8 to 10 years. Like I said, if I need a gaming rig, I'll build a gaming rig or I'll buy a console or something. But for my work and like general use, this laptop is honestly a little more than I ever could need. So, and that's good, because as I grow and as I expand, this laptop will be there for me to grow into. Since this laptop is not upgradable in any way, which is kind of a downside, I expected a little higher than I knew I would need, because I plan to keep this laptop for an extended period of time. Even if it breaks, I have the AppleCare, and I'll just get it replaced. Ultimately, like I said, I'm super happy with this laptop, even with the service issues that I ran into. Yes, it sucked, but shit happens. It's okay. And Apple did make it right, and they did it in a reasonable amount of time. So that being said, as I post this video, we are getting really close to 1,000 subscribers here on the channel, which is absolutely awesome. I never expected to see that. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are showing me love and support. I got a lot more content coming, so if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, subscribe down below. Maybe even hit that bell icon so you can get notifications when I upload. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am Dylan, the TechnoGiz guy. I will see you in the next one. And remember, keep it peaceful.